Welcome to the Optimized Equine Podcast. Recently, I attended a very high-level hunter jumper show. This included a CSI 5-star Grand Prix. For those of you that aren't familiar with the show jumping world, this would be the pinnacle of show jumping. So 5 stars is the highest they offer in their rating system. This essentially means it features the most challenging courses, the highest prize money, and therefore draws the top riders in the world and their horses. The quality of the horses at this show was unbelievable. Just amazing, beautiful, gorgeous, athletic horses everywhere. And I'm not just talking in the Grand Prix ring. From the walk-trot ring to the junior amateurs to the hunter derbies, there's just stunning horses everywhere. So, of course, that was fun to see. Most of the horses that I saw were very content in their routines, it seemed. They were well behaved, doing what was asked of them, and handling their environment very well. That being said, I did notice some common themes that present opportunities for optimization. In general, many of the horses experience a lot of what I would call meaningless interactions or touches or physical pressures. Moments where something is being done to the horse, but there's no active dialogue between the horse and the handler that promotes the focus, responsiveness, balance, straightness, and self-carriage that everyone is working so hard for during their training time. For example, during grooming, bathing, while waiting at the in-gate between classes, walking in hand, and definitely while being lunged, these meaningless interactions are taking place day in and day out, and they create little micro-tensions that add up to brace and crookedness in the body and just in the horse over time. They also make our horses less responsive, more dull to our aids, and reinforce the horse tuning us out, which we certainly don't want. Each of these moments in their day are missed opportunities to further support the horse's training and performance and longevity. There also seems to be a big disconnect between the expectations placed on the horse during a training session versus all the other minutes in their day. One example of this would be that riders would never allow their horse to walk under saddle the way that they do when they are being led down to the ring. They hold them to a very high standard of posture and carriage under saddle, but it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back if the horse is practicing poor habits, posture, and movement as he is being pulled along by the lead rope numerous times every day. This is not to say that a horse should always be held together in some kind of frame. In fact, that is quite the opposite. I think there is much room for awareness, however, around incorporating better focus, responsiveness, balance, straightness, and self-carriage into daily handling and lunging. Some things to ponder to optimize your horse's day-to-day experiences outside of their training time are: is this experience a deposit or a withdrawal in the overall account? Many tasks in a horse's day are treated as though they're just neutral and meaningless interactions, unrelated to the big picture. But I find this to be far from the truth. Often, these tiny withdrawals just go unnoticed until they add up to bigger and often seemingly unrelated problems down the road. Does this experience soften or tighten the horse? Does this moment add tension or release it? Does it support a resilient nervous system? Does this activity support balance and straightness or crookedness? Any activity can incorporate elements of body work or physiotherapy that support the horse's body, releases residual tension, and aids in developing a resilient nervous system. These are things to think about when it comes to grooming, tacking, lunging, hand walking, trailering, or just about anything. If every interaction is a gain or a loss in this big picture account, figure out how to make it a gain. You and your horse will notice a difference. Another thing that I noticed in horses that were having some trouble is a lack of effective tools to redirect the horse's attention in a way that regulates their nervous system and realigns them with the training goals. Many horses know their job, and they did it very well a majority of the time. Aren't horses great? But often, when I saw a horse that was spooky or bothered by something, the rider's available tools or aids were creating tension in the horse while attempting to regain control of the situation. Another way to say this is that the pressure-based aids or tools are not tied into nervous system regulation. While one problem is being solved, another one is being created. I like to install some wiring, let's say, to be able to get back in touch with the horse's thinking brain, as opposed to just becoming more and more firm with the hands and legs in an attempt to regain control. A horse that can regulate its nervous system in response to the aids can return to harmony with its rider much easier. I'm not saying obedience isn't an important ingredient to all of this. Of course, our horses need to learn obedience. However, if obedience is always created in a way that is paired with fear and tension, it can become a vicious cycle. That horse is now scared of you and whatever it was they were scared of to begin with. They develop quirks and phobias and scary corner syndrome due to only kind of getting back under control without actually becoming regulated in their nervous system again. Simply relying on obedience, strength, and pressure creates residual tension, it dulls the aids, and can lead to serious behavioral problems in some cases. Thanks for sticking around to hear my thoughts. It was a really fantastic experience. Can't wait to do it again. I would love to answer any questions this may have brought up for you or hear your thoughts and feedback.